I've sat across from countless patients over 70 in my clinic, listening to their frustrations about feeling exhausted, foggy, and just not themselves, despite getting enough hours in bed. It's heartbreaking because you deserve to wake up sharp, energized, and ready to embrace your days. Whether it's sharing stories with grandkids, tending your garden, or diving into a favorite hobby. As a doctor, I'm here to tell you that one common bedtime habit is wrecking your sleep and brain health using screens like phones, tablets, or TVs in the hour before bed. This isn't about scaring you, it's about empowering you to take back your nights and protect your mental clarity. Let's dive into why this habit is so harmful, how it's affecting your brain, and what you can do instead to sleep deeply and keep your mind sharp for the vibrant life you're meant to live. Why are screens such a problem? It all comes down to the blue light they emit. Blue light is a wavelength that mimics daylight, tricking your brain into thinking it's still daytime. This suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep. Melatonin is like a gentle nudge to your brain, telling it to wind down and enter rest mode. After 70, your pineal gland produces less melatonin naturally, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Blue light from screens can cut melatonin production by up to 50%, according to a 2019 study in Chronobiology International. This disruption throws off your circadian rhythm, the internal 24-hour clock that regulates sleep and wakefulness. Instead of drifting into deep, restorative sleep, you're left with fragmented, shallow sleep that leaves you groggy and unfocused the next day. I had a patient, George, a 74-year-old retired mechanic who watched TV in bed every night to relax. He thought it was harmless, but he was waking up multiple times, feeling foggy and struggling to remember simple things like where he parked his car. George's sleep was being sabotaged by blue light, and it was taking a toll on his brain. We replaced his TV habit with listening to an audiobook under dim lighting. Within 3 weeks, he was sleeping through the night, waking up refreshed, and even started fixing up his old car again, something he hadn't had the mental energy for in years. That's the difference a small change can make when you understand what's at stake. Let's talk about why this matters so much after 70. Your sleep isn't just about rest, it's about brain health. During deep sleep, your brain goes into maintenance mode, clearing out toxins like beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. This happens through the glymphatic system, a network of vessels that flushes waste from your brain. Poor sleep, caused by blue light exposure, slows this process, letting toxins build up. A 2021 study in sleep found that older adults exposed to blue light before bed had 20% less deep sleep and performed worse on memory and attention tasks the next day. Over time, this can increase your risk of cognitive decline, including mild cognitive impairment, which affects 10% of people over 70. Blue light doesn't just disrupt sleep, it messes with your entire body. Your circadian rhythm controls more than just sleep. It regulates hormones, body temperature, and even appetite. When it's out of sync, you might feel hungrier, crave sugary foods, or experience mood swings, all of which can indirectly harm your brain. Chronic circadian disruption is linked to inflammation, which damages neurons and accelerates aging in the brain. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning, decision-making, and short-term memory, is especially vulnerable. A 2020 study in neurology showed that older adults with poor sleep quality had a 15% higher risk of cognitive impairment, with blue light exposure being a key factor. Why is this worse after 70? Your eyes change with age, the lenses yellow and thicken, filtering less blue light, but your brain becomes more sensitive to circadian disruptions. Your melatonin production is already low, and your circadian clock is less resilient. making it harder to recover from even one night of poor sleep. Add to that the fact that sleep architecture, the structure of your sleep cycles, changes. You spend less time in deep, slow-wave sleep and REM sleep, both critical for brain repair and memory consolidation. Blue light pushes you further away from these restorative stages, leaving your brain starved of the rest it needs to stay sharp. Let's break down the science a bit more. When blue light hits your retina, it activates cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, or EPRGCs. These cells signal your suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's master clock, to stay alert. This is great during the day. It keeps you awake and focused, but at night it's a disaster. The suprachiasmatic nucleus tells your pineal gland to stop making melatonin, delaying your sleep onset. Even 30 minutes of screen time can shift your sleep phase by an hour, meaning you fall asleep later and wake up feeling unrested. A 2018 study in Journal of Sleep Research found that older adults using screens before bed took 25% longer to fall asleep and had 30% more wake-ups during the night. This isn't just about feeling tired. Poor sleep affects your hippocampus, the brain region responsible for forming new memories. When you don't get enough deep sleep, your hippocampus struggles to process and store information, leading to that "where did I put my keys" frustration. Over time, this can snowball into more serious memory issues. The same 2021 sleep study showed that older adults with disrupted sleep had a 10% reduction in hippocampal volume over 5 years, a marker of cognitive decline. Blue light isn't just stealing your rest, it's chipping away at your ability to stay independent and engaged. But it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is that you can reverse this damage by changing one habit. Stop using screens at least 1 hour before bed. This gives your brain time to ramp up melatonin production and ease into sleep naturally. If you're thinking, "but I need my phone to relax," I get it. It's a habit we've all fallen into. But screens are stimulating, not calming. The content you're watching, whether it's news, social media, or even a light-hearted show, keeps your brain engaged, spiking cortisol, the stress hormone, when you should be winding down. George, my patient, was amazed at how much calmer he felt when he switched to audiobooks. His brain wasn't buzzing with stimulation, and his sleep quality soared. Why does this habit hit so hard after 70? Your brain's plasticity, its ability to adapt and repair, slows with age, making it harder to bounce back from sleep deprivation. Chronic poor sleep also increases oxidative stress, which damages brain cells and accelerates aging. The blood-brain barrier, which protects your brain from harmful substances, weakens with age, and inflammation from poor sleep makes it leakier, letting in toxins that impair cognitive function. By cutting out screens, you're not just improving sleep, you're giving your brain a fighting chance to stay resilient. This is about more than just sleep. It's about preserving your independence. Imagine waking up clear-headed, ready to tackle a crossword, plan a family gathering, or simply enjoy a conversation without struggling to find words. That's what's at stake. By understanding how screens disrupt your melatonin and circadian rhythm, you're taking the first step toward protecting your brain. Stick with me as we explore how this habit affects your brain long term and what you can do instead to sleep deeply and stay sharp. We've already uncovered how screens before bed, with their blue light, sabotage your melatonin and circadian rhythm, leaving you with shallow sleep that robs your brain of its nightly reset. As a doctor, I know how frustrating it is to feel foggy, forgetful, or just not yourself, especially when you're trying to enjoy these precious years over 70. You deserve to wake up sharp, ready to share stories with friends, tackle a puzzle, or simply feel confident in your own mind. The habit of using phones, tablets or TVs in the hour before bed isn't just stealing your rest, it's threatening your long-term brain health. Let's dive into how this affects your mind over time, explore practical ways to replace this habit with a calming bedtime routine, and hear from patients who've transformed their sleep and mental clarity by making this one change. My goal is to empower you to protect your brain and live the vibrant life you're meant to lead. Let's start with the bigger picture of what poor sleep, triggered by screens, does to your brain over months and years. Sleep isn't just a break, it's when your brain does its heavy lifting. During deep, slow-wave sleep, your glymphatic system flushes out toxins like beta-amyloid and tau proteins, both linked to Alzheimer's disease. When blue light cuts into this deep sleep, these toxins accumulate, forming plaques that disrupt communication between neurons. A 2022 study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that older adults with fragmented sleep had a 25% higher risk of developing amyloid plaques over 5 years. This doesn't mean you'll definitely get Alzheimer's, but it raises the stakes for cognitive decline, which can show up as trouble remembering names, losing track of conversations, or feeling mentally sluggish. I had a patient, Evelyn, a 73-year-old retired teacher, who used her phone to scroll through social media every night before bed. She thought it was a harmless way to catch up with family, but she was waking up exhausted, struggling to focus, and forgetting appointments. Evelyn was scared. She'd seen her mother battle dementia and worried she was headed down the same path. We traced her issues to poor sleep caused by blue light and the mental stimulation of scrolling. We replaced her phone habit with journaling in a notebook where she wrote about her day or planned tomorrow's tasks. Within a month, Evelyn was sleeping 7 solid hours, her focus sharpened, and she felt hopeful again. She even started teaching a community art class, something she thought her foggy brain couldn't handle. That's what protecting your sleep can do for your mind. Why does this hit so hard after 70? Your brain's resilience weakens with age. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new connections, slows down, making it harder to recover from sleep deficits. Poor sleep also spikes inflammation, which damages neurons and shrinks key brain regions like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus is your memory hub, storing new information like where you parked your car or what you ate for lunch. The prefrontal cortex handles planning, decision-making, and impulse control. Think of it as your brain's CEO. A 2020 study in neurology showed that older adults with chronic sleep disruption had a 12% reduction in prefrontal cortex volume over 3 years, leading to slower thinking and poorer judgment. Blue light from screens keeps you in a cycle of shallow sleep, starving these regions of the rest they need to function. But it's not just about brain structure. Poor sleep affects your mood and energy, which ripple into your daily life. When you're sleep deprived, your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes overactive, making you more irritable or anxious. This can strain relationships or make you avoid social activities, which are crucial for brain health. Social engagement stimulates your brain, building cognitive reserve, a buffer against decline. A 2019 study in the Journals of Gerontology found that older adults with poor sleep were 20% more likely to report social isolation, which doubles the risk of cognitive impairment. Screens don't just disrupt sleep, they can disconnect you from the people and activities that keep your brain young. Now let's talk about the stimulation factor. It's not just blue light. Screen content keeps your brain buzzing when it should be winding down. Whether you're watching a thrilling show, reading news, or scrolling through social media, your brain is processing information, releasing dopamine, and spiking cortisol, the stress hormone. This is the opposite of relaxation. Even light content, like funny videos, engages your brain's reward system, making it harder to switch off. A 2018 study in sleep medicine found that older adults who use screens for entertainment before bed had 30% higher cortisol levels at night, delaying sleep onset by up to 45 minutes. After 70, your stress response is more sensitive, and this cortisol surge can fragment your sleep further, leaving you tossing and turning. So, what can you do instead? The key is to stop using screens at least 1 hour before bed, ideally 2 for maximum benefit. This gives your brain time to rebuild melatonin and ease into sleep naturally. Replace screen time with a calming bedtime routine that signals rest. One of the best options is reading a physical book under soft, warm lighting, like a bedside lamp with a low wattage bulb. Reading engages your mind gently without overstimulating it, and studies show it reduces stress by up to 68%. Choose something light like a novel or memoir to avoid heavy topics that keep you awake. Evelyn, my patient, switched to reading mysteries and found it not only helped her sleep, but also gave her something fun to discuss with her book club. Another great alternative is listening to calming audio, like an audiobook, podcast, or soft music. Opt for genres like classical, jazz, or nature sounds. Think gentle waves or rainfall. A 2021 study in Journal of Sleep Research found that older adults who listened to calming music before bed fell asleep 20% faster and had 25% more deep sleep. So, keep the volume low and use a device without a screen, like a small speaker or radio. If you're tech savvy, download audio to a non-screen device to avoid temptation. One patient, Harold, a 71-year-old retired accountant, started listening to classical piano music before bed. He'd been glued to his tablet watching news, which left him anxious and sleepless. The music calmed his mind, and within weeks he was sleeping 8 hours and felt clearer during his morning walks. Gentle stretching or yoga is another powerful option. Simple poses like seated forward bends or leg stretches relax your muscles and lower cortisol. A 2020 study in sleep health showed that 10 minutes of pre-bed stretching improved sleep quality by 15% in older adults. You can do this in bed or on a mat, focusing on slow, deep breaths. Pair it with a mindfulness practice, like a 5-minute meditation where you focus on your breath, or visualize a peaceful scene. Harold added a short stretching routine to his music, and he told me it was like hitting the reset button on his body and mind. If you love to reflect, try journaling. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, or jot down tomorrow's to-do list to clear your mind. This reduces mental chatter that keeps you awake. A 2019 study in behavioral sleep medicine found that gratitude journaling before bed reduced sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, by 10 minutes in older adults. Keep a notebook by your bed and use a pen with a soft light if needed. Evelyn's journaling habit not only helped her sleep but also boosted her mood, making her feel more connected to her life's joys. Why do these alternatives work? They lower your brain's arousal state, letting your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, take over. Unlike screens, they don't emit blue light or spike cortisol, so your melatonin production stays on track. They also create a ritual that signals to your brain that sleep is coming, strengthening your circadian rhythm. After 70, consistency is key. Your brain thrives on routine. Aim to go to bed and wake up at the same time daily, even on weekends. A 2020 study in sleep showed that older adults with consistent sleep schedules had 18% better cognitive performance than those with irregular ones. Let's talk about another patient, Clara, a 75-year-old grandmother who watched TV shows on her tablet every night. She thought it helped her unwind, but she was waking up groggy, forgetting her grandkids' names and feeling too tired to bake with them, something she loved. We switched her to a routine of gentle yoga and reading poetry under a warm lamp. Within a month, Clara was sleeping deeply, her memory improved, and she was back in the kitchen, teaching her grandkids her cookie recipe. She told me, "Doc, I feel like I've got my spark back." That's what happens when you give your brain the rest it craves. These alternatives, reading, music, stretching, journaling, aren't just stopgaps. They're tools to rebuild your sleep and protect your brain. By ditching screens, you're not just avoiding harm, you're actively strengthening your mind. Imagine the confidence of waking up clear-headed, ready to plan your day or enjoy a lively chat with friends. That's what's possible when you make this change. We've uncovered how screens before bed with their blue light and stimulating content disrupt your melatonin, fragment your sleep, and threaten your brain health by slowing toxin clearance and shrinking key regions like the hippocampus. We've also explored calming alternatives, reading, music, stretching, journaling, that help you sleep deeply and keep your mind sharp. As a doctor, I know how much you want to wake up over 70 feeling clear-headed, energized, and ready to embrace life. Whether it's playing with grandkids, gardening, or simply enjoying a conversation without brain fog, you deserve that vitality, and you're not powerless to claim it. Let's wrap this up with complementary habits to lock in these benefits, precautions to tailor this change to your health, and a final push to start tonight. My goal is to give you everything you need to protect your sleep and brain for the vibrant life you're meant to live. Let's start with complementary habits that amplify the benefits of ditching screens. These are like the scaffolding that supports your new bedtime routine, strengthening both your sleep and brain health. First, prioritize consistent sleep timing. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, stabilizes your circadian rhythm, making it easier to fall asleep and wake refreshed. After 70, your internal clock is less flexible, so consistency is key. A 2021 study in sleep found that older adults with regular sleep schedules had 20% better cognitive performance and 15% less daytime fatigue than those with irregular ones. Aim for 7-8 hours of sleep, ideally starting between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m., depending on your natural rhythm. I had a patient, Margaret, a 72-year-old retired nurse, who struggled with erratic bedtimes due to late-night TV. She ditched her screen, set a 10:30 p.m. bedtime, and woke at 6:30 IMIM. Within weeks, her energy soared and she started volunteering at a local clinic, something she thought she was too tired for. Next, optimize your bedroom environment. Your bedroom should be a sleep sanctuary. Dark, cool, and quiet. Darkness boosts melatonin production, which is already low after 70. Use blackout curtains or a sleep mask to block street lights or morning sun. Keep the room cool, around 60-67 DEDF 16-19 DEDC, as your body temperature drops during sleep, and a cooler environment supports this. A 2020 study in Journal of Sleep Research showed that older adults sleeping in cooler rooms had 25% more deep sleep. If noise is an issue, try a white noise machine or earplugs to drown out traffic or neighbors. Margaret added blackout curtains and a small fan to her bedroom, and she noticed she was falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer, which sharpened her focus during the day. Hydration plays a role too. Dehydration can disrupt sleep by causing muscle cramps or dry mouth, which are more common after 70 due to reduced thirst signals. But timing matters. Drink most of your water earlier in the day to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. Aim for 6-8 glasses daily with only sips in the evening. Herbal teas like chamomile or valerian root can double as hydrating, sleep-promoting drinks. A 2019 study in phytotherapy research found that chamomile tea before bed improves sleep quality by 15% in older adults. Avoid alcohol and caffeine after 2 p.m. as they block adenosine, a chemical that builds sleep pressure. One patient, Thomas, a 70-year-old retired carpenter, swapped his evening coffee for chamomile tea and stopped using his phone before bed. He went from waking up 4 times a night to sleeping solidly, and his woodworking projects got a creative boost from his clearer mind. Physical activity is another game changer, but it's about timing and type. Exercise boosts sleep quality by reducing stress and promoting deeper sleep stages. However, vigorous workouts close to bedtime can raise cortisol and keep you awake. Opt for moderate activity like walking, swimming, or Tai Chi earlier in the day, ideally in the morning or afternoon. A 2022 study in sleep medicine found that older adults who walked 30 minutes daily had 20% more slow-wave sleep, critical for brain repair. Tai Chi, with its gentle movements, is especially effective for seniors, improving balance and reducing anxiety. Thomas started morning walks with his dog after ditching screens, and he noticed not only better sleep, but also steadier hands for his carpentry, which boosted his confidence. Diet supports sleep too. Foods rich in tryptophan, magnesium, and vitamin B6 promote melatonin production. Think turkey, bananas, almonds, or oatmeal for an evening snack. Avoid heavy, spicy, or sugary meals within 3 hours of bed, as they can cause indigestion or blood sugar spikes that disrupt sleep. A 2020 study in nutrients showed that older adults eating a small, tryptophan-rich snack before bed fell asleep 12% faster. Margaret tried a banana with a handful of almonds an hour before her new bedtime routine, and it became her secret weapon for drifting off easily. Now, let's talk precautions, because these changes need to fit your health profile. If you have a sleep disorder like insomnia, sleep apnea, or restless leg syndrome, screens may not be the only culprit. Sleep apnea, common in over 20% of seniors, causes breathing pauses that fragment sleep and starve your brain of oxygen, raising dementia risk. A 2021 study in Journal of Alzheimer's Disease linked untreated sleep apnea to a 17% higher risk of cognitive decline. If you snore loudly, wake gasping, or feel tired despite sleep, ask your doctor for a sleep study. Continuous positive airway pressure, CPAP machines, can be life-changing. One patient, Susan, a 74-year-old retired librarian, had undiagnosed sleep apnea and used her tablet before bed. Combining CPAP with a no-screen routine transformed her sleep, and she went from forgetting book titles to leading a library reading group again. If you're on medications, check for sleep interactions. Some drugs, like beta sleepers for heart conditions or antidepressants, can disrupt melatonin or cause insomnia. Others, like diuretics, increase nighttime urination, which pairs poorly with hydration advice. Talk to your doctor about timing, taking diuretics earlier, or adjusting doses. If you have anxiety or depression, screen-free routines like journaling or meditation can help, but don't replace therapy or medication. Susan was on an antidepressant that caused mild insomnia, so we timed her dose for morning and added journaling, which calmed her mind before bed. Medical conditions matter too. If you have chronic pain from arthritis or neuropathy, discomfort can worsen sleep. Gentle stretching before bed helps, but consult your doctor about pain management. Some medications, like opioids, can disrupt sleep cycles. If you have diabetes, avoid evening snacks with high carbs to prevent blood sugar spikes that wake you up. For those with heart conditions, heavy exercise like evening walks might strain you. Stick to light movement like chair yoga. Always tailor these habits to your body's needs, and get a medical checkup if you're starting new routines. Let's address mindset. It's easy to think, I've been using my phone for years, why change now? Or, my sleep's always been bad. I've heard this from patients who went on to transform their lives. You're not just avoiding screens, you're building a future where you're sharp, engaged, and free to enjoy what matters. Every night you choose a book over a phone, you're investing in your brain's resilience. Picture yourself a year from now, waking up refreshed, remembering names effortlessly and feeling proud of your clarity. That's not a fantasy, it's what's possible. One final story. Robert, a 71-year-old retired engineer, came to me after noticing he couldn't focus during chess games with his grandson. He was glued to his tablet before bed, watching documentaries, thinking it was educational. His sleep was choppy and his memory was slipping. We switched him to reading history books and added morning Tai Chi. Robert also set a consistent 10 p.m. bedtime and used blackout curtains. 6 months later, he was not only beating his grandson at chess, but also teaching him woodworking, something he thought his foggy brain couldn't handle. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I've got my old self back. That's the power of these changes." Here's the bottom line. Using screens before bed wrecks your sleep and brain health by suppressing melatonin, fragmenting sleep, and slowing toxin clearance. Swap them for reading, music, stretching, or journaling, and lock in the benefits with consistent bedtimes, a sleep-friendly bedroom, hydration, exercise, and smart snacks. A 2023 study in Nature Aging found that older adults who improve sleep quality through lifestyle changes reduce cognitive decline risk by 30%. That could be you. Start tonight. Put your phone in another room, grab a book, or play soft music. Try it for 1 week and share your progress in the comments. I'd love to hear how it transforms your days. Your brain is ready to thrive. Let's make it happen.